Health authorities are tonight racing to track down close contacts of a third infected truckie who passed through our state yesterday. More than 200 South Australians have now been ordered into quarantine as more exposure sites are revealed.
Making a stand against restrictions, protesters take to Parliament accusing authorities of going too far.
Our government needs to literally get their together or step down. They're out of control.
But overnight the virus crept closer to Adelaide, with revelations a third infected truck driver entered our state.
It appears that we've got onto this very quickly. The truck driver was only in South Australia yesterday and we're already moving to take action.
So far, SA Health has identified 2 new exposure sites. Port Wakefield's new OTR, which is still badged as a BP. Anyone who was there between 1:50 and 3:20 yesterday afternoon must quarantine for 14 days and get tested, which will be easier from tomorrow with a pop-up site opening there. The other location of concern, the Metcash Distribution Centre at Jepps Cross. Those who are working there between 8:30 and 9:30 a.m. yesterday need to monitor for symptoms. Just one staff member has been identified as coming into contact with him. They are now at home self-isolating, and the outdoor area where the contact occurred has been thoroughly cleaned. Contact tracers are still scrambling to confirm any other stops the driver made. 225 are already in isolation, including close contacts of 2 other infected truckies who entered the state 10 days ago.
The 3 truck drivers that we've had in South Australia who were COVID positive just recently, all of the evidence indicates that they've done the right thing. They've been wearing masks.
The Transition Committee today relaxed border restrictions with southeast Queensland and Katherine in the Northern Territory and flagged an increase in wedding guest caps.
People who are planning to get married can continue with their plans.
Kimberly Pratt, 7 News.
The crowd's starting to turn up now, guys, so, we're on the M1 at Reedy Creek. The trucks are broken down, maybe, I don't know, maybe not. But the cops are here. They've backed off now because there's too many people. What makes it better? Even more people. So come join the party, guys. The speaker's going to be out soon. We're going to have some music playing. We're going to be doing some speeches. The trucks have stopped. The traffic has stopped. Australia's stopping now. And if we don't have our demands met, I don't think these trucks are going to get moved. So come down and support, guys. See you soon.
And there have been major delays this morning on a Gold Coast motorway from an anti-lockdown protest. Today, Queensland reporter Jessica Millwood is there. Jess, how's it looking right now?
Ali, much better now. Happy to report for commuters this morning that the southbound lanes of the M1 are now moving freely after this protest this morning in which 2 trucks stopped completely stationary on the M1. They blocked traffic for kilometres. What they were protesting was the fact that in Queensland it's now mandatory for essential workers to have at least 1 dose of the vaccine. These truckies are calling on the country to open up. They want our leaders to all come together, they say, otherwise no jobs will be left. Take a look.
We're standing up while we can with the rest of Australians for freedom of choice and for our rights before it's too late.
Now, those truckies were saying that they were going to stay there until the police had them towed. But in the end, Senator Pauline Hanson, who was there to support them, had a word to them and said it's probably about time you do move on, boys, because of the people that were being inconvenienced. One of the organisers has been going live on Facebook. They are heading southbound, and he's saying that they are going to muster up once again in Chindra, which is in northern New South Wales. So we'll stay across that this morning, Ali.
OK, thanks for that, Jess.
OK, turning to the COVID situation around the country now, where lengthy lockdowns are suffocating Australia's 2 biggest cities. And look at the figures. New South Wales has set a new record for daily cases of 1,218 new infections. Sadly, 6 people have passed away. In Victoria, 92 new cases, only 63 linked to known clusters. The source of 29 are still under investigation. And Queensland, 1 new locally acquired case, but the good news is they were detected in home quarantine and not infectious inside the community. Let's bring in our team of reporters. First of today is Christina Hearn in Melbourne. Chris, there's no end in sight to Victoria's lockdown.
Scalding hot beach, meet mountain cold refreshment. That's chill.
Well, Carl, all up 211 days in hard lockdown and counting for Melbourne. And lockdown 6 is not going to finish on Thursday. The Victorian Premier has made that clear. We might get some small freedoms like playgrounds reopening. Regional Victoria might get some easing of restrictions, and Year 12s might be back in the classroom. Of course, that is all speculation. It's yet to be finalised by the Victorian Premier. But Ines Willocks from the Australian Industry Group has told Today on 9 that businesses simply can't continue to operate like this.
Melbourne has been the most locked down city in the world. Businesses here are absolutely struggling, and those who work for the businesses are also absolutely struggling.
Vaccine supply is, however, now being fast-tracked to Victoria now that Sydney is no longer getting the priority. Carl?
Christine, thank you.
New South Wales has reached the halfway mark when it comes to the all-important target to ease restrictions. Today, correspondent Lara Vella leads our coverage from Penrith in Sydney's west. Lara, the Premier, though, has added some terms and conditions.
She certainly has, Ali. Not only do we have to reach this target of 70% fully vaccinated in order for lockdowns to be lifted, in addition, the Premier says now the key number that we really need to focus on is the number of people being admitted to hospital, as opposed to those rising case numbers, which we know here in New South Wales we reached another record. This is, of course, in complete opposition to some of the rhetoric that we are seeing from the premiers of other states, Ali. Having said that, though, our former Deputy Chief Medical Officer, Dr Nick Coatsworth, agrees with the Premier's strategy.
Once we actually see the number of hospitalisations decrease, that will be a good indicator that we're on the right track.
Ali, this morning we are joining you from an aged care facility at Penrith, where unfortunately 4 residents have tested positive to COVID after contracting it from a cleaner. According to the facility, 90% of staff and residents have received at least 1 dose of the vaccine. The majority, they say, are double vaccinated. As for those residents that have tested positive, they've now been taken to hospital.
OK, thanks, Lara.
A mass vaccination hub is opening in Brisbane to boost the state's lagging vaccination rate. Yet, despite Queensland being behind much of the country, Deputy Commissioner Shane Chellaby from Queensland Police says the Sunshine State will reach its targets.
Queensland's a really diverse state. You know, we've done over 150 outreach clinics. We've put vaccine in helicopters, we've put vaccine on planes, we've had people turning up to be vaccinated on horseback. You know, they're the challenges that some other states don't have.
On September 8, the new hub at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre will open, and it will take 1,500 bookings each day. Treasurer Josh Frydenberg is rallying industry leaders to back the Commonwealth's charge in reopening Australia as fractures between the Commonwealth and state premiers widen. Nine's politics reporter Rachel Baxter joins us in Canberra. Rachel, good morning to you. The Treasurer says lockdowns cannot continue.
Good morning, Alex. That's right. The Treasurer has just said this morning that lockdowns must end for the sake of the economy. Right now, Australia's 2 biggest states, Victoria, Queensland and here in the ACT, are in lockdown, and it's costing the economy $3 billion every single week. Despite this, there's still been significant pushback from some state and territory premiers, including in Queensland and in Western Australia. The Treasurer joined us a short time ago on the show. Here's what he had to say.
The lockdowns in our 2 biggest states are not only costing jobs, seeing businesses close, they're increasing our debt burden as well and having a real toll on people's mental health.
Alex, what everyone can agree on, though, is we need to get as many people vaccinated as soon as possible, and we hit another record last week. Over 7 days, 2 million people received the jab.
Rachel, thank you. Hurricane Ida is right now smashing Louisiana in the US. Check out this incredible shot of the eye of the storm.